Do you want to intro the podcast?
Do I want? No, you're just gonna interrupt me.
I won't do that to you.
What? Who are we? When is? It's been so long. If I had like a huge beard. What year is it?
I'm not gonna bump you. Do the intro.
Okay. Hey everybody.
Welcome to Mort's Garage Cast!
I walked right into that.
Right into it.
I didn't even. What's up, buddy?
It's been a year.
It's been a year. It feels like it's been a year.
We want to apologize.
Yes.
I hate when people do this because it's like, why are you
recording?
apologizing? Just be yourself. Yeah, see, like 47 seconds. It's good. See?
Oh, okay.
You're good. I hate when people do this where they give like the apology thing.
Yeah.
But I was literally gone.
Yeah, it is true.
And it's hard to do a podcast when it's not hard because of the technology to make it easy. But
there were some things that happened
distracted.
in June.
I had some.
I think that we should give ourselves the leeway.
Yeah.
If either of us are part of a wide release major motion picture,
there's a little
we're
grace.
free to do it.
Yeah, that's good. Okay,
and
good.
that includes me. It could happen.
Yeah.
It could.
When will it happen? All right. Okay, hold on. Okay.
Yes.
Who you just became part of an agency.
Uh-huh.
And you just auditioned and got your first role in a film directed by the director of your choice. What is it?
Oh, any movie that I could be in.
Yeah, directed by any person. It's not a remake. Or maybe it is.
It's Dirty Work 2, starring an AI generated Norm Macdonald.
Well, I think you've ended the discussion perfectly.
I killed it. I didn't like this question, so I killed it.
No. I mean like that is a top tier answer.
I play the what's his name? The other guy that was in that, who's like now like on Howard Stern, and I think his drugs have killed him. I play him, so I can't remember his name.
Well, this is sad. Let's go happy again. All right. Josh and I have been gone for a little while, but we're here now, and we're excited to be here. Enough of this banter. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about the news, and then let's just give. Well, actually, here's what we're going to be doing today. We have a different one. There's like pickups in this one. Josh has brought some things to the garage as well that I have an idea of. Yeah. But a little bit of the appraisal style video is going to happen.
We're going to do a little bit of that.
So if you are listening to this, you need to go right now to Mort's Attic. And you need to watch, because there's going to be visuals in this that you are going to want to see. Yep. I'm also going to show you a recent pickup I have of, I think, is a potential Game of the Year title, and so much more. So let's get into it.
I will just say this. This is the thing that most people hear a person say, and they go, boring, why would you do this? And like collectors, you say it, and it's a Pavlovian dog response. I cleaned out my garage.
Oh, my gosh. All right, news. Let's go to the news. Come on, let's keep going.
All right, let's go. In the news, first thing we got to talk about, Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
You know this game?
You mean the one I have the special edition for right there?
I watched the special edition. Here's the thing about Street Fighter 6. I played some of the demo, and I thought, this game's awesome. Not for me. I don't want to ever play Street Fighter 6. I have watched a ton of Street Fighter 6.
Okay.
I love being a spectator of Street Fighter 6.
But you're not enticed to pick up a controller and learn it.
I just don't have the ability to play a fighting game at that level.
Once you learn, no one forgets their first down forward punch Hadouken.
Now it's like, well, when should you do it? And my thing is always like, always, just keep doing it forever, and then I just lose immediately online. Yeah, well. But I will say, I've been loving watching competitive. And I've gone back and forth multiple times on buying a ticket to EVO and just going and watching it. But the news is that Street Fighter 6 at EVO 2023, which is going to be in Vegas this year, has officially broken a franchise and all-time EVO record for competitors.
Wow.
Now, we don't know what that number is because it's technically still open and it's technically still growing.
Okay, for those that don't know what EVO is...
EVO's weird because it's not the top street, like it's not the Super Bowl of fighting games, because the end of the road for Street Fighter is the Capcom Cup. That's where you win. But you have to place at EVO and several other ones.
So EVO is a big deal.
But EVO is the largest fighting game championship out of all of them. Even bigger than the Capcom Cup.
I thought that EVO was like the MLB of fighting games. It's a national sports league.
It is in a way where it's like the most prestigious. It's now owned by Sony. But it's the most prestigious, but it's also like, it's a fighting game tournament where they play a bunch of games.
Okay.
So, but when it comes to Street Fighter specifically, it's a leg on the journey. But Street Fighter is always the end game. And for as long as EVO's been around, Street Fighter is the last game they play. It is the championships. Street Fighter is a big deal. EVO, I think, and Street Fighter basically exist together.
That's helpful context.
Now, the last time they had this high of numbers, or like basically the previous highest record, was Street Fighter V in 2016, and they had 5,100 competitors. They have beaten that, and we don't even know by how much.
Okay.
So Street Fighter 6 is very popular, and I think that the competitive world for Street Fighter 6 is going to be like really great, just phenomenally great.
I have an announcement.
Okay. Are you going?
I'm one of the 5,100 who competed.
In 2016?
In 2016. And none of that's true.
Yeah, I was Hadoukened right on out of there.
Well, that's awesome.
It is,
and it's a great
cool
game. And as a single player experience, as a multiplayer experience,
sounds like it is.
I love it. It's super fun. Yeah,
like,
I designed one of the most horrifying creatures known to humankind and digital kind.
Yep.
And all of the modes in it, the extra things you can do in it. It's a great game if you like fighting games. Or if you've been, like, I've been a little bit tepid on Street Fighter with all the debacle around Street Fighter V and the weird release and the characters in an incomplete game.
Yep.
I liked 4 a lot on 360.
It seems like
this one is like...
is getting back to, like, where people were so excited about 4.
Yeah, and people, like, even if you don't like fighting games, the modes in it and the breadth
Are you using modern controls?
Yeah, I'm not. Well, no, I'm using where I have to input all the commands. Okay. I'm not doing the one-hit commands.
It sounds like the modern control scheme is a real game changer for people to get into it and say, like, hey, we're going to take the mechanical skill out of this so you can work on the fundamentals, like the positioning and and the stuff, and then you can progress. When you get a lot better, we'll get you good at that stuff first, because prior you have to get good at that after you've gotten good at the mechanical parts. And they're they are thinking long term. There are a lot of people that have never thrown a Hadouken, have never played an original Street Fighter, but are like, maybe I'd want to try it out.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very cool.
Well, very exciting.
Hey, EA just announced a new game from I think, new kind of developer that didn't exist before. This is Cliffhanger Games. They're making a third-person, maybe open world, but like third-person action style.
An adventure game, good.
Black Panther game.
That sounds fun.
Sounds like it could be really fun.
Yeah.
If you think about Spider-Man, if you think about the Wolverine game, and you imagine, like, I can see that those will be fun, Black Panther can fit right on in there.
Yeah, totally. I think for those games, it is as much about a good story as it is the mechanics, because I'm sure someone will find a way. But the mechanics to Spider-Man are perfect. The mechanics to other third-person action open-world games, we've got industry standards at this point. So I think if they can weave in a really good story, that's cool. And I'm not like a giant Marvel guy. I like Marvel. I liked the first Black Panther movie. I haven't seen the second one.
But games, in terms of games, you like that Spider-Man game?
Love Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's a great game.
PS4.
What about like other Marvel games? Did you like the Ultimate Alliance games?
They're
those?
fine.
Yeah.
X-Men Legends, it's fine.
Yeah.
Did
you ever play the weird 360 Wolverine game that was like M-rated?
No.
Actually, not bad.
But and not only that, but from a collector standpoint, that's a very desirable game.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Wolverine Unleashed, Uncaged. Something?
Yeah, Unleashed. I think, but I think if that's what I'm thinking of, there is a Wolverine game, and I think it's the 360 and PS3 one that is worth quite a bit.
Wow.
And it's be on the lookout for collectors.
It was apparently a very fun, or it was a fun game. It was a little God of War-ish, and it worked pretty well. I'm hoping that Insomniac's. So what I think Insomniac did really well with Spider-Man is, like you said, here are a lot of standard things, but also here are a lot of Spider-Man-y feeling things.
Oh man!
And if they can do the same with Wolverine, That's great. And then, but this is a wholly different group. This is not Insomniac, so we'll have to see. But if they can pull in some Black Panther-y type stuff, you know, if you're climbing all the walls, jumping, throwing...
I got into like a zen-like state with Spider-Man's combat where it was like...
You're just flowing, right?
It was like playing...
Dodging,
it's like playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, you know, where you just kind of are like, you know, you go right into the next combo, right into the next move, and it was so fun.
I'm very looking forward to that second game.
Same.
Hey, Nintendo Switch.
It's kind of dying out, right?
It's doing, you know, it's... The Nintendo Switch is pretty long in the tooth.
Yeah.
It's been around for a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of dying out. No
one... They did report their best June ever in Japan.
What the heck?
Yeah. When people ask, like, man, why have they not announced the Switch 2? It's because they don't need to right now.
Yeah, we keep on getting.
But they also aren't not making that many new games for it, so we'll have to see. We missed, like, the whole Nintendo Direct where they announced Super Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
And
how'd you feel about that?
The Super Mario. I mean, I think it's cool that he looks weird and it's a different art style. Yeah. I don't know if I'm into a 2D Mario again.
Yeah, in a weird sort of way, I feel like Mario Maker 2 makes me less.
And Mario Maker 1 you on those because it's like you just play that.
Because everyone else has created all these Mario levels and ideas that the concept of seeing Mario in a wacky outside of the box thing. Is largely, affected.
What about a remake of Super Mario RPG?
Now, that's different because that's an RPG, and it's remaking one of the most classic games of all time.
A game that you actually have my SNES cart of.
Yeah, I do. I have your cartridge, and then
I think you had another one, too, didn't you? Or was that Chrono Trigger? I can't remember which one you already had.
I already had that one because I got it complete in box. And then I kept your cartridge and got rid of the other cartridge. But I'd have to think about it. I think your Chrono Trigger cartridge replaced a cartridge that I got from someone else.
I think that happened with both. Yeah. It was only Earthbound was the only one that's like you technically didn't have.
Spoiler, but coming up, there's a very fun story about that Chrono Trigger game.
Oh, really?
Because if you look on the shelf, sir, I no longer have the box for it anymore.
Oh, really?
We'll talk.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, anyway, Switch is doing great.
Well, I mean, good for them.
Good for them. I think they are still probably... Again, I think that we're going to see maybe an announcement at the end of this year or early next year. I think you're going to see a Switch 2 next year. I think that they are just going to roll right into it because everyone who wants to buy the cheaper thing can buy an existing Switch.
Yeah.
Everyone who has bought a Switch already will buy a Switch 2. I think Nintendo's going to do just fine. And I think that if you're talking about, like, where's Mario Odyssey 2? Where's Metroid Prime, whatever, 4?
Yeah.
All of those are coming out on a different console. They're not going to come out on the Switch.
I don't know. I mean, but at the same time, Nintendo just showed, we had the best June ever with the sequel to our Zelda game.
That is true.
So, who knows? But, I mean, who else needs to own or is looking to get a Switch?
Correct, right.
And also, Nintendo, I have to give them props. So frustrating buying their limited release products because if you're not there within minutes, it's gone. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, you can buy right now brand new copies of the special edition on BestBuy.com.
Really?
At the retail price. It's available everywhere.
That was the one that you were kind of like worried about getting too, and now
I got
it seems like you can get them.
And then in addition to that, they also had the console, the OLED console. I went and grabbed one of those because I was like, as a massive Zelda fan, and I had no problem getting it. Huh. So the controller's a little bit hard to find, but they still keep on releasing it.
Sure.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Make it a little cooler in here. It's like I'm warming up.
I like it cool.
Under all these lights.
I like it cool.
I'm blinded by the lights.
I like it cool.
Oh, you are cool. Hey, by the way, speaking of cool... to tell the people, I showed you a little sneak preview, but the next Mort's Garage video features Josh quite a bit.
It's a good one.
And it's I thought it was funny.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, let me just get to the last thing here. This is pretty interesting for you, for collectors, I think. So, the Video Game History Foundation did a big study and about the state of the classic game market. And they went into basically finding out how many games that exist are available for purchase right now. And I think you already saw the number. Did you?
I see it. And,
okay.
And tell everybody.
So
this is pretty wild.
So 87% of classic games released in the United States are out of print. So that's 13% that's available for you to buy if you want to buy a game. This game that came out.
How does that define? If you want to buy a game, is that I can go to a digital storefront?
Yes, that it is available in some format at all.
Got it.
So when they say 87, they mean...
So they don't mean like you literally can't find 87% of the Super Nintendo library at game stores.
No, what they mean is that the secondary market is the only thing keeping that alive.
Yeah,
but what it really means is that when we talk about things like remakes and stuff like that, these companies are going to be looking at that 87% number as like stuff to mine, right? Like, which is in some ways great for people who are like, hey, I just want to play it. I don't care. Yeah. But it also does say something, I think, about the collector market, that most of the games released in the United States are on only the secondary market.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. 13% of games that exist can be bought new. And that's it. So that's a huge number. And I wonder if that number actually, I didn't get to read to the end of this, if they had gone back and said that number is actually, the 87% is higher now than it's ever been. But I'm going to probably assume, yes, that number's gone up. So more and more games that were prior available to just someone who just wants to buy it, don't exist.
So what's interesting about this is that today... there was an interview with an attorney on our good friend Gary over at Rock Solid Productions, and he interviewed a copyright law attorney, and he's focused almost exclusively on emulation. And he brought up things I had never considered before. Now, I have had sponsors reach out and say, we would love for you to feature our emulation machine, but I've always been like, I don't feel comfortable doing that because I don't want to encourage piracy and all that other stuff. And while I sympathize with the fact that classic games can be really expensive, the attorney that's on this podcast is like, however you feel about it from a legal standpoint, like you're in real troubling waters, and Nintendo is not shy about shutting down anything.
Not at all.
And anyone who would promote it, and so it's this really tricky thing of a lot of these classic games. Ironically, because of data rot and disk rot, if you want to play these games, you have to preserve them in some kind of an emulation style format, and yet at the same time they're lost forever. And I'm just as excited about new games coming out as I am revisiting old games. Don't get me wrong. I don't like. I have hot takes on this one, but at the same time, when people say things like, "Well, but emulated games." Help because it's super expensive to buy a copy of Cubivore, which is like a $700 game.
Right.
The response back from Gary and everyone was like, "Well, look, like just because you don't want to pay that doesn't mean that it's any less legal, or
correct,
or whatever."
Right.
It's just like walking into to buy a Tesla and then being like, "I really want to get a really nice new Tesla, but I can't afford that. I'm just going to take one anyways." You'd be like, no, that's the market value of that car.
There's a strange thing that only exists with digital, and I think it comes largely from the internet culture that grew up. Like we all just, when I was first on the internet, you just pirated everything because that's how you did it. There was no way to buy stuff legally, and there were certainly not ways to buy, like, without you going to like wherever it was being sold. But then the secondary thing is like, well, what if you went in and said like, I really want that Tesla, and you're like, I don't want to pay for it, and you pressed a button and you got a copy of the Tesla at your house. Not that you took their Tesla. Now, they're going to argue, of course, well, that money that you would have paid us is what you've stolen from us. And that's the argument, certainly, that like would be brought forth legally. But I think in some people's minds, they're like, well, I didn't take anything from you.
I just copy.
I just created out of whole cloth this. But the 87%, you have to remember, that is all of the games that aren't available to be purchased in some legal way. But in that big number is games that are like plentiful on the secondary market, games that are expensive on the secondary market, and games that simply don't exist, period. unless it is by emulation. Because there's a lot of that where it's like,
that's true.
There isn't a cart of this anywhere. You couldn't spend the money on this.
Right.
But you could download a ROM of it. Somebody grab that.
Nintendo World Championships, like,
I mean, that is
20 of those exist or whatever it is. Or maybe it's like 75%.
It is a finite number.
Yeah.
And it is a low number.
Yeah.
And then there's stuff that like just very low print, and so there's a comically low number of that too, where it's like, oh, there's not that many of those.
Well, one of the things that the attorney brought up that I thought was really interesting was people say like no one's losing any money. Like, no one's selling this. But Konami just re-released the Castlevania collection 2 times over. And the Contra collection. Right. And I think they're doing a Metal Gear collection. And all of their old games because it's just easy money. Now, if I emulate all those games, I'm far less incentivized to go and buy these official copies of it. Even if they're using emulation, which in some cases they are.
Sometimes they're stealing the emulator.
Yeah, which is wild. But it's all just, I never considered that like companies might look back and go, well, we would love to do a re-release of Super Mario 3, but it's been pirated 1 billion times. There's no market for it anymore. And like, is it a sympathy for the devil kind of a thing? There is. And I kind of am like, yeah, but that's the rules.
It is the rules.
Like it or not.
There's no argument over, like, what the rules are, because, yes, you are correct in that what people are saying is, look, I just don't want to follow these rules. Right. Because there isn't a legality question. Yeah. The question has been solved until something changes. But there is a market for us to look at for how companies should respond. Yeah. And that is when iTunes came out. Oh. Because do you remember prior to iTunes, I don't know if it is, you remember the days of Napster? Mm-hmm. I didn't buy music at all. Yeah. I just downloaded all the music I wanted. Yeah. But when iTunes came out and sold songs for $1...
Hypothetically, you did.
Yeah. Cops. Yeah. Hypothetically. Yeah. I only had a 56K modem, so I couldn't get that many.
It's ridiculous.
So...
Not that low
but
quality.
Think about it. How many? You know what? Do you know when the last time I downloaded a song or like stole a song was? Like, I mean, I stole a lot of songs when I was a kid. Well, so at college where there was a guy with a network share where he just had all his music. You could just make copies of it. He's the one that stole them. I was just making copies of his stolen goods. Okay. So, and I know his name. I could say it.
I didn't steal it, but I borrowed the stolen merchandise.
Yes, and I made a copy of it real quick, and then gave back the stolen merchandise to the thief.
Oh well,
so go after him.
You're absolved.
Yeah, that's what all Napster was. But that's the thing is, once I could buy songs they made it very easy. Yeah. And I stopped doing it. Now, then streaming came out, and I stopped buying music at all. Yeah. I just don't pay for music anymore. But the point is that everybody who wants to play something. Yep. Will pirate it if that's the best way and the easiest way for them to get it. But if you make it easy and critically, you need to make it perform well. Yeah. And don't overcharge for it. Yeah. People will 100% pay for your collection. Oh my gosh. And in fact, remasters and collections, the reason why they make so many of them is they do pretty good.
Well, how amazing.
I think they make them money.
How amazing would it be if Nintendo and SEGA and everyone just teamed up together and was like, all right, we're tired of all of this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start our own Spotify for video games, and we're going to literally put entire libraries on there. You would decimate the retro market, I think, pretty quick. Yes. And it would, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of collectors that are really hardcore, myself included, who would still want the original. You want
the thing, the real thing. But
at the same time, the idea of just like, well, I can literally turn on the service I paid $20 for a month or $15 for a month and have the entire history of video games.
Look at Blu-ray sales.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. Wolfpack also did something really funny with this as well, but it's just another story for another time. Anyway, so yeah, this is interesting. I'm curious how this data will get interpreted and read and all of that.
I think it's a pretty fascinating read. I didn't get all the way through it because they have both their long report that contains like all of their data, and then they have this kind of summary. But it's on the gamehistory.org. Yeah, it's the Video Game History Foundation. Yeah, you can go ahead and check it out. I think it's some cool stuff.
That is cool.
Right. That's the news.
That's the news. Let's talk about what we're playing and watching.
Yes.
Let's start with playing, and then we'll do watching. Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as what we're playing, I'm going to start with the first game. Josh, I went back to the N64.
Okay.
Still playing Winback.
Okay. How much more Winback you got?
I don't know. I'm winning it all back.
The Winback was a value, apparently. It's like a 50-hour game.
I play like a level a month.
Okay. All right. So
But I popped in 007 The World Is Not Enough on the N64.
This is the directly after GoldenEye?
And it's an EA game by I forget who the developer is, but they were a great developer.
Nightfire, right?
No, it's The World Is Not Enough. Nightfire is also great.
I'm sorry. Nightfire is the name of a game, not a studio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm like tempted to go grab the box, but the point of it is, it's not Rare. It's not the company Rare.
Yeah.
So
they're making Perfect Dark at this time.
Yes. So this game comes out, and I bought it and enjoyed like the first level or two, and then kind of moved on. Oh my gosh, I love this game.
Oh really?
I played the.
Is this the game we were playing the multiplayer of?
No, that's a different one.
That's a different one. Okay.
So I enjoyed the remaster of GoldenEye quite a bit on the Xbox. I did not enjoy it on the Nintendo Switch because of the control problems.
Yeah.
And I think this is a better game.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like maybe it's just because it's fresher in my head because I'd played it less.
Yeah.
But I thought it was more objective oriented.
Yeah.
Like in GoldenEye, it's like you have to do this thing and then escort the person to here and then hit this button. By
it was neat at the time to have those things, but they weren't implemented.
The world is not enough in the way that it's that I've played it so far. And I've played a few hours of it. It's mostly get from A to B, do some meaningful but not overly complex objectives, and just shoot all the bad guys.
Yes.
And it is so much fun.
Cool.
And I'm really enjoying it. And so if you are an N64 person like I am, and you're looking to add one to your collection, it's really cheap. I think it's like a sub $10 game.
Okay.
And no emulation conversation or legal ones there because that's a cheap one.
Sure.
Go find it. It's a good one. It's a blue cartridge. I'm playing that. And then what else? I'll tell you what else I'm playing, but you tell me what you're playing.
Well, I in the meantime that we were away, like you had your things, I actually had surgery, so
that's
that
right
put me
from
out
Fight Club.
Yeah, I got punched in the stomach, and that caused a hernia, and then I got the hernia fixed.
I'm sorry, you're a surgeon. I thought you were referencing that they punched you in the stomach and they broke their hand against your steel abs.
No, they punched a hole right through me, and then my intestines stuck through that hole and would hurt. Because that's what a hernia is.
That sounds horrible.
It's really.
How you feeling?
Good, great. Good. Surgery was super easy, and I was back on my feet after like a couple days.
It's great.
And I had actually, even though only one show was in June, there was a show right at the end of May, and I had a show right at the beginning of July, so all of them kind of took up all the time in June.
When Josh says show, you're playing guitar in a very particular, wonderful cover band.
In a band called Finding Emo. We're on Instagram at finding_emo_OC. There's a picture of the fish from that movie with the goofy haircut.
Nemo with a black greasy haircut.
We had a great time. We had a fantastic show. Our Radiant Brewery was one where we had a really big show at.
And you guys are having a big turnout now, too.
It was huge. We also have a gigantic band because there's too many people in it.
I love it. That's so fun.
So that took up a ton of time with the practice and everything. But in June, Diablo 4 came out.
Yeah.
And I did play a lot of Diablo 4.
Okay.
A ton of it. And then I had to take a break because Season 1 is going to start on the 20th.
Okay.
And so I'm going to jump back. I was like, I need to save myself some gas for Season 1 of Diablo 4. That's been good. But the big thing is Steam sale is going on right now.
Oh.
Steam sale, famously for where you can buy all kinds of stuff on Steam for cheap. And guess what went on sale?
Diablo 4?
In addition to, it's not on Steam actually because it's a Battle.net game.
Oh,
but
point.
The Steam Deck.
Oh.
And I bought a Steam Deck.
Hey, that's cool.
Pick it up in a couple days. So they put them on sale. So,
which is weird because I feel like no one's been able to find one.
So apparently, yeah, and it was like I ordered it. I don't know, like late last week, and it's already been shipped. So, but apparently, like in Europe, no, you can't get them, and people are. So I don't know. I don't understand. Canada too. I think that Valve is like you buy it directly from Valve in the US, but maybe they have partners for other countries, and that's where the supply chain is all messed up. But I'm pretty excited about the Steam Deck.
That's really cool.
I will definitely give you guys a review on Steam Deck, and then let me just finish up mine. My game of the year right now so far is
Tears of the Kingdom. No, the puzzle game.
Case of the Golden Idol.
Yep.
I finally finished Case of the Golden Idol DLC.
How fun.
I don't have any more of it left.
And is this still your game of the year?
Oh, yeah.
It didn't wear out its welcome?
So, no. The problem with that game is there isn't enough of it. And it's also a problem. So, it came out on Switch.
Yep.
You can get it on Switch if you want to check it out now. It's on something. Phil Vecchio, a friend of the show who I was talking about, said he got it. I haven't heard if he played it, but I kind of told him, I'm like, look, this is a game that like you can't play again because you just know everything, all the answers. You can only experience it once, and I don't know if he's played it because I told him like you really should just play all of it at once. It'll take you like 3 hours. It was so magical that I started going down the rabbit hole of like, what? It's like, what if they gave you the best heroin, but they're like, that's all the heroin that there is. And you're like, is there anything else that I can jam in my vein, snort, whatever? And they're like, we do have primo cocaine over here. And you're like, let's do that. And then you're like, that wasn't as good as heroin, but it did do it. And then you like hear about all this other stuff.
And if you're listening with your kids, heroin is a type of candy.
Heroin is a female hero.
Hero.
Yeah, there you go.
That you throw into your veins.
You throw into your veins. So I started looking around. I'm like, is there anything else like this? And in fact, there are threads of people who are like, any other games like this?
Actually, I probably shouldn't say heroin and candy as the same thing because that's even worse sounding in its own kind of a way. Yeah.
Real Macy playground.
Let's just pretend I didn't even say any of that.
Yeah.
All right, keep going. All right.
So I downloaded a game on Steam Sale called Strange Horticulture.
Okay.
Which is a game where you play as a newly installed like shopkeep of a plant store.
Yeah.
In like kind of a fantasy town.
All right.
And you like don't know anything about plants.
Oh, fun.
We have all these plants, and you have it's very Papers, Please. Like people walk up and be like, I need some of this plant. And you have a book that's like your uncle wrote for you, where it's like, I took down some notes, and you have to look at it, and it's like, it's not very distributed. It's like, this thing has yellow leaves and maybe a stiff stem. And then you have to look at all the plants you have, and you're like, that's pink leaf. Is that stem stiff?
Yeah.
You can inspect it, and then you have little labels. If you discover something, it does not tell you again. You have to take a label and put it on the plant and be like, this is the common Trouse. This is the pink lady. This is, whatever it is. But all of the plants in it, because it's like a fantasy world, they are like, oh, this is what we use to sleep, and this is what we use to like settle our stomach, and this plant opens any lock. Like, I don't know why that happens.
Yeah.
But not only is it great in that way, you have a map of this entire like world, and there's just names of places, and you will find people will send you a letter, and it's got a riddle on it of like, you have to find an area on the map.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love it so far. I can't get enough of it. There's like a mystery. I'm going to start brewing some of the plants.
Wow.
If it's definitely scratching some of that itch. And it had a moment last night where I was like looking at this thing they had given me, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Oh,
it's like, it's a clue where like literally it has a single mark on it. And you're like, what? This is, I don't know what this is. And then I looked at it and did something, was like, oh my, I can't believe, it's so smart, it's so genius.
That's so satisfying though in a puzzle game like that, is when you rack your brain and then all of a sudden
you just see it.
Yes.
And you go, wait, is this?
I'm with it.
Sure is.
I'm into it. That's cool.
Very excited about that. I can't wait to play that. I also bought, so when we were doing our drug analogy earlier.
We've moved on from that, but yeah.
But, well, I had kind of alluded that like Case of the Golden Idol was like the primo stuff.
Yeah.
There is apparently a game that everyone says is the top shelf.
No, and you haven't played it.
I have not played it.
What's it called?
It's called The Return of the Obra Dinn.
Oh yeah, that game's been around for a while.
Yes,
yeah.
I never played it.
Okay, well,
I bought it. I'll probably play it on
Give
my
us your
Steam
review.
I will. I'm kind of excited, but we'll see. I kind of want to keep it as a forever something.
Okay.
So that's what I've been playing.
Well, and just because people say it, most people haven't played Case of the Golden Idol.
That's true.
So how are they?
But a lot of people who played that and said it was great said, oh, "This is Oberdin, but Oberdin is the high watermark."
It's the GOAT.
So I'm very excited about that.
Okay,
You've got something.
One of my favorite genres of games is arcade sports.
Okay.
And there's a particular sports game series that stole my heart. Like a runner from first to second base.
Okay.
From baseball. It's a sport where...
Yes, RBIs.
Uh-huh.
Got him.
So this one stole my heart. And it is called Super Mega Baseball. Super Mega Baseball. I did not know they made a physical version of Super Mega Baseball 4. I got this one on the Switch, but there's a PS5, I think. This is relatively new. So this year? I took my kids to Target. It was their birthday relatively recently. And so we went and they were spending some gift cards and I saw it and it was like $50. And I was like, okay, I'm going to wait till it goes on sale. Wow. I went like 4 days later. It was $16. So I was like, okay. Was the $50 a mistake? I don't know, but I was ready to download this regardless. And before I bought it, I was like, well, let me look at the reviews. Maybe it's EA's publishing it now. Before it didn't have any actual licenses. It was kind of a lot of concepts with not real players. But I understood the stats integration and how to level up your characters, and it was so playable and so fun. The games move fast. It's so silly and over the top, but now they have real characters, real players, real teams. I care a little about that stuff. I know a little bit about baseball. I like baseball, but... I was going to say, these are real people's names? These are real people's names. Because these look like they're made up. Like what? Johnny Damon. That's a joke name. No. Jason Giambi. Yeah. Giambi. Yeah. Ozzie Smith. Come on, that's like the he played guitar punk rock. For Striper. Yeah. Oz Fox. Listen to this. This is not real. Vladimir Guerrero. Wait, you could tell Josh has not played very many sports because those are all very real names from very real players. Who is this guy? These are legacy players. First of all, Guerrero, Johnny Damon. You can see it in the look here. He is his brother has been in a few movies like The Bourne Identity. And there's a whole scene where he shows up and he's like, we need to switch. Holy cow, that's lives. Johnny Damon. It's like Freaky Friday where Matt Damon shows up and then Johnny Damon shows up and then all of a sudden Johnny Damon has to go to set and do a big action sequence, and then Matt Damon's playing for the Texas long ballers, and he's got to hit a home run or else the team loses. It's an amazing movie. You got to see it. You do have to see it. But in all seriousness, you absolutely do not. This is one of my favorite series. I bought this. I also bought the new Puzzle Bobble game on Switch pretty recently as well. I'm excited to crack the plastic and dive into these and get into them. If you haven't played Super Mega Baseball before, and you have a love of games like Mario Baseball, like Dusty Diamond's All-Star Softball on the NES, any of that style of fast-paced game, you must play this game. It's that good. The mechanics of it are so user-friendly. I recommend. It's kind of crazy that there's only been 4. It is kind of crazy because I think the first one came out. There was a long gap, right? Well, the first one came out when my kids were a year old. Oh, okay. So this is a 7-8 year long series. Right. But the thing is, MLB The Show has been the simulation game, and it's not needed a competitor because what can you do to make it better? It's considered such a pure Can't you change the prices on the hot dogs in the stadium on that game? I don't know. Yeah, but Madden, people have wanted a competitor for it. So we had NFL 2K for years, and then they lost the license and all of that shenanigans. The point is that with baseball, there was an RBI baseball that was there, but it was never got good reviews. Yeah, that's what I remember when that came out. People were like, no. Yeah. So I'm wondering if the whole thing of this is it's more like it's the legends. It's not like the modern stuff. So it doesn't Is Von compete. Hayes in it? I don't know who that is. Is Jericho McCrickerkin? I'm trying to think of another Jericho McDriver sounding man. Yeah. Pally Born Chesterbottom. Yeah. He played in 1901. Yeah. Oh, type in the comments your favorite player who does not exist in baseball, or maybe they do. Anyway, a lot of fun names to be thrown around here. But let me tell you about what I've been watching. Okay. And what you've watched. I'll tell you what I've watched. And it also ties in with what I've been playing, which is on the plane. My kids are in Asteroid City. We've covered this a million times on my channel. You're probably sick of hearing it. I don't care. And the kids got to go to the New York City premiere.
Yes.
And it was one of the best experiences of my entire life.
Can imagine.
In every way, shape, and form. We rolled up and we arrived. I mean, it's like all the things that it was kind of like, I've been to birthday parties and stuff where it's like, oh, we're doing a red carpet. It's like, oh, fun. Like,
yeah.
It was an actual red carpet, Josh.
Yeah.
It's so, like, the door opens, the kids get out, there's people taking pictures, and, like, they're signing autographs.
You realize all the things that tried to approximate it were doing exactly that. They were approximating.
It was so wild. And so we watched them literally go down the press line. Some press didn't want to talk to them. That's okay. You missed out on maybe the best interview you could have had the whole night. But but no, I mean, I'm not dogging any of that. I'm just saying this, that they talked to a lot of people, and then we got to see the movie Asteroid City for the first time, and Josh, my head nearly exploded. I remember we walked in, we got to this moment, and all the cast is there.
Yeah.
So they invite all of the cast out on stage.
Man.
And the first person that they announce is Jason Schwartzman, because it's his and Scarlett Johansson's movie.
Yeah.
But Jason in particular, I think he leveled up as an actor.
He is the main character.
But like there's never a moment where I was like, that's Jason Schwartzman being funny Jason Schwartzman. It was like, this is
he's kind of playing a little bit against type for a lot of the stuff that he plays.
Totally. It was excellent. But then the second person they bring out is Jake Ryan, who is Woodrow, the girl's older brother, and then the girls came out. And like, before all this happens, you know, like, we don't know what's going to happen. We know the kids are going to come sit with us when it's all done. But Wes is introducing everyone on stage, and the amount of just, oh my gosh, pride, joy, I can't believe this is real. And then Josh, like, then they introduced the other 13,000 members of the cast to come out on stage.
Like Bryan famous actor after famous actor.
Well, Bryan Cranston got announced to come on stage next, and when he came out, he stood in front of the kids and blocked them intentionally, and then made a joke out of it, and like, and then this is the best, as they're walking off stage, one of my daughters, Gracie, she turns to the crowd as they're like halfway across the stage, and mind you, in this room, is
tons of press, tons of critics,
it's like, it's a premiere, so it's also other filmmakers and actors and other people.
Yeah, totally.
So Greta Gerwig, Noah Baumbach, like people that I just...
Friends of Wes.
Massive fan of, right? And Gracie turns to the audience and she goes, mwah, mwah, and she's doing blowing kisses
I saw the video of it,
stage.
and it was it was cuter than you describing.
The whole room, everyone went, oh, I'm like, that's my kid. Oh my gosh, it was insane. Before it happened, my wife and I were sitting down in our chairs, and I looked at her, and I just started like bawling, because it was like,
it just happened.
This is real. This is before they've announced everyone to come out on stage. It was just more like, we started this process 2 years ago.
Yeah.
In 2 years of basically having to hold on to this news, you can only disclose certain things, you know, for so long, and now it's official. Now you can share what you want to share and all of that, and then just to be at this point,
it's here. It's like
real.
there. Yeah.
And then you watch the film, and I mean, I love this movie. I just put a video out on the Mort's Garage channel for a breakdown of the themes in it. I can understand and appreciate the complaints that it's hard to understand. There wasn't a story, that, you know, and I think part of that is because people's expectation of Wes Anderson have maybe even changed a little bit after all this AI stuff, where it's like, he just does cool images and whatever. I don't think that's like, there's so much more to the movie. There's the first lines about the movie that they ever said was that it is a poetic meditation on the meaning of life. That's the first thing they started saying to press. So essentially, if you watch it with that sort of switch in your brain, that you're watching allegory, metaphor, symbolism, it's a movie that I think will be a slow burn. I think Wes fans will love it. Everyone else will be like, I'm not sure about it. But then I think in years to come, people will continue to unpack it.
A lot of Wes Anderson movies, that's what people say about it. I was like, I'm not sure what to think about this.
Yeah, French Dispatch got that. But the second time I saw French Dispatch, I was like kind of blown away. Like,
really?
Yeah, the first time I saw it, I was like, I don't really like this movie. But the second time I saw it, I was like, I love this movie. Yeah. And I think part of it is the same problem that maybe people have with Asteroid City, which is when you have a cast that large and that much happening narratively, there's so much disorientation.
Yeah.
But once that disorientation is over and you can just watch the movie without all of that.
You don't have to be going like, I can't believe that's
Michael Scott.
That's that. And now you're just watching them as characters.
You're just watching the story.
I think it's a movie that kind of needs multiple viewings to really fully grasp.
Yeah, and there's press interviews where people in the production, Wes in particular, have said, this is a movie that people will appreciate with multiple viewings, but I'm not just trying to tell you to go see my movie a bunch of times, but genuinely I think this is... And
that's how it was constructed.
I'll say in my personal experience, my dad just saw it last night with my mom again for their second time, and he was like, it was so much more clear and more, I got so much more out of it the second time.
It's tough seeing it at a premiere where literally every time your girls come on,
freaking out.
Everybody's screaming, and they are legitimately the best part of the movie. I agree. Missed things about their scenes because of how much fun it was to see them on there. So, I would go back and watch just all their scenes again, just be like, okay, what did she actually say here? Because we were laughing or cheering too much.
Yeah, and some of it was like he intentionally has them all saying the lines at the same time because of the chaotic nature of having three triplet daughters, which
it actually works really well.
Yeah, but there's a scene where
it's accurate,
where they say like, what do you girls want to drink? And then one goes, I'm a mummy with no head. And I have this all memorized because I've heard those lines so many times. But go see the movie. I loved it, and Josh saw it, and he said that my kids are the best part of it, and that's authoritative.
I did say that.
Yeah.
I think just like now.
Yeah.
You watch anything else,
dude? Thank you for that recommendation on Succession. Loving Succession.
Where are you at?
We're going slow because we've just been so busy. So we're still. I think we're past the halfway point of season 2.
Okay.
So it's still a ways to go.
Yeah.
But every episode, something happens.
How about the end of season 1 at the wedding?
I mean,
man.
But there's multiple scenes in that. I'll say this. I'm going to try and be pretty spoiler free. There are scenes in that show where characters are put in these situations, and I'm dying to know what they based the writing on.
Right.
Was that a story that someone shared? Oh, well, I'm gonna say there's a scene. There's a scene that involves hot dogs, I believe, is what it was.
Yes.
And then that scene,
sausages.
Yeah. Floored me.
Bore on the floor.
Floored me. And I was like, is that a real thing that happened?
Wouldn't be surprised if they are taking something else and they called it something else. But
yeah. I
people sometimes give me guff too. I think that is some of the best television ever made.
I don't disagree. Particularly dramatic, yes.
And what I can tell you is that there is no bad episode. There is no bad season. It is one big thing that is as good as any part of it, and that's incredible.
So 100% agree, and you just made me think of that. There's not one time I've been like, why are they doing this with the plot? Why are they doing this with the story? Every character, it's so interesting too, because these characters are people whom you kind of are like, you want to get to know, but from a distance, but you can't stop watching.
You cannot stop.
Oh,
and you can't help but root for sometimes, even though you're like, these people are all terrible.
Yeah.
I say it over and over again. My thing about that show is that the theme of that show is that they're horrible, awful, monstrous people, but you have to remember they're still people.
So they're very human. Like from the patriarch's humanity in his insecurities, but also his headstrong boldness that has led him to lead the world, to his competing sons and daughters. There's a Shakespearean
there's a lot of like King Lear in this.
Oh, it's
for
great.
Sure. So
it's so good.
We're watching a show right now called From. Maybe the worst title of a TV show ever.
No idea what this is.
From. It came out on Epix, which is why no one's ever heard of it.
Huh.
And now it's on, like, it got bought by somebody. It's basically, you can find it on Amazon Prime. If you liked Lost, the first season, and then was like, man, Lost kind of went off the rails. From is really similar in that vein. Big mystery, very supernatural. It is a show that really hinges on what they do with it, if it's going to be worth it or not. But so far, it's like, wow, this is really intriguing, and I'd like to know what's going on in this world. But it's kind of a mystical. It's one of those shows that, are they all dead? Are they in hell? I don't know. It could be just as easily anything. So, yeah, I think From's worth a watch. You can watch the first episode on Amazon Prime for free, and if the first episode doesn't grab you, you're done. Don't worry about it. You don't ever have to think about it again.
Interesting.
But yeah, From is interesting. I mean, I could give you a rough summary of like what the show is about, if you think that's valuable.
I think, given what you said about it being the mystery of season 1 of Lost, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good.
It's not on an island, but people are trapped.
Okay. Wow. And then maybe From is what's the one where each letter is a different
to and from. Oh no, I don't. An acrostic.
Anyway,
acronym.
Yeah, acronym. That's the one. 4 really overweight men. I love that show.
I think overweight men could watch it and be just fine with it.
How are they going to lose the weight?
I don't know if I'm watching anything else either.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know Futurama's coming back, so we're pretty excited.
How do you feel about that?
It's a little bit weird.
Some things just need to be dead.
I agree with that, but also Futurama is a show where if they made just a bunch more good episodes, it doesn't matter to me that there's more of it, because there was a great ending and I can just leave it there. But that show is so smart. If they make more smart episodes, I'll be like, that's fine.
Boy, I remember how bad I was wanting Arrested Development to do another season or two.
Sometimes you get what you ask for, and you realize no.
Well, those characters were all so perfect in their time. I wonder if animation, if it's a little different, because there's just a getting back into those characters is not just a vocal performance, but there's also a visual performance, and some of that is like, we can't pick it up like it was yesterday.
They're so good. I did get very special time in my life where I got invited when I was doing the podcast, the Prior Game podcast, where I got to review or like check out the launch of their like new mobile game. Yeah. But they had it at a theater in LA.
Which mobile game?
It was called like The World of Tomorrow, Futurama: The World of Tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about an Arrested Development.
No, yeah. Futurama. But we got to go see a table read of the cast on stage do an episode.
That's awesome.
And I brought my wife, who's like a bigger Futurama fan than even I am, and it was pretty magical. Like that was one of those moments where I'm like, you made a good choice marrying me, right? 'Cause I got you in to see
she
Futurama.
Did make a good choice.
And then this hopefully will pay for a couple big blunders that I'll make.
So not only are you Dr. Optimism, but you brought your wife to Futurama.
I did.
All right.
Let's get into it.
You brought some things.
I did bring some things.
Before we get into what you brought, though, can I share with you what someone brought?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. I have a separate dedicated video about this on the Mort's Garage channel that I'm in the process of editing, where I unbox all this stuff.
Okay.
But here's the short version. So I was watching another YouTube channel and love this channel. They're called Retro Rivals. And it's this husband and wife up in Canada.
Okay.
And they were talking in this video about games that they were looking for. And he said in the video something to the effect of, like, I would love to get Chrono Trigger one day. But I'm probably just going to stop at the cartridge because the box and manual, who can afford that?
Correct.
I'm watching this episode.
Can you give me what's the street rate for, like, if I want to go out on the streets in a shady alley? What's like a full boxed version of Chrono Trigger?
A fully boxed one.
You get the box, you get the manual, you get the cartridge.
I could be way off on this. I don't have all this stuff memorized, but I think it's like around $1,000.
Okay, wow, all right. So we're in that realm.
It's like $700 to $1,000 or something like that.
Wow.
So a long time ago, I came up on this amazing lot of NES games, one of which is Chubby Cherub, which is one of the most collectible NES games in the entire library. Finding that game cartridge, loose was like $100 plus, maybe even more. Mm-hmm. The box though was, stupid money.
Yeah.
So I sold it all. I kept it for a little bit. I sold it, and then, long story short, I ended up having another collector want one of the boxes I had in that lot, which was Scoon. And so I paid pennies for this lot of stuff. It's like $100 is what I paid for it. I sold some stuff, made my money back, and then I just hooked up other collectors.
Yeah.
My man, who I gave Scoon to, John, who's a video game developer, he's been on the channel on the game hunting videos and stuff before, the expo videos. We're booth buddies often. Yep. He traded me for it, among other things, a box for Chrono Trigger. So at this point, I am I'm like, no dollars out of my pocket.
Right.
And I'm like, cool, Chrono Trigger. I love this.
Yeah.
And it's a little beat up. The box is not in perfect condition. I think it was maybe missing one of like a piece of the flap somewhere or something. I don't know. But I had Chrono Trigger complete in box with the manual and everything else because I think you gave me the manual.
Yep, I did. Yeah,
which I still have. So, I was like, sat with it for like a week because I will impulsively give things away if I'm not careful. So I'll be like, I want this. Like, all right, you know.
Yeah.
And so I sat with it for like a week or two.
I need to remember that.
And then I sent it. And then they did a video opening it, and they didn't know that I was sending it to them. I think I said they ordered a Mort's Garage T-shirt from me.
Oh, cool!
And then I was like,
you get to do the thing where you slip in.
By the way, you know, so they opened it.
This is Retro Rivals.
Retro Rivals.
Okay.
And so at the end of the video, it was everything. I did not do this so I could make videos about it. I did not do this, you know,
because you didn't know any of that would happen.
Well, and also like, I think it's rad when I get hooked up, and it is fun.
It's fun.
I did not determine the value of these things, but anyway, so you get the idea. So, she is an artist, and a really good one.
Okay.
And at the end of the video, it pans out to her on an easel, and she's like, "I think I got something for you, like that I'm gonna do." I'm like, "All right." So she painted this.
Oh my goodness!
You guys, look at this thing. This is one of the coolest
things. Donkey Kong 64.
That's it. This is the Diddy Kong Racing level in Donkey Kong 64.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's Conquer. Bad Fur Day. That's the Bad Fur Day.
That's Conquer right there. But look at the detail on this, the shading, the coloring.
That is really fantastic looking.
This is one of my favorite things in this entire room.
And it's so cool because it's 100% unique.
100% unique, and it's also just one of those things where it's like, I didn't ask for this. I wasn't looking for this. Right. And it was so thoughtful.
And you couldn't have asked for it because how would you, right?
Whenever I post videos, I usually get a comment from her that's like a very like I'm watching comment in like a very wonderful way where it's like because she does I think most of the commenting. Yeah. And it's just like, you know, I love this part of the episode. This was cool, all that stuff. So there's this, but this wasn't all, Josh.
Oh no!
Oh yes.
Oh no!
Oh yeah!
Kool-Aid Man's gonna come through here.
He is. So.
What else you got?
She and I had this conversation about like, you know, creative blocks and all that stuff. And we just had a really cool like, you know, like artist to artist kind of a conversation, and she made me this.
Oh my gosh.
Don't forget to remove the clutter and create more space.
You know what's about to happen? A Tetris.
It is. And more space is about to get
points.
made. I love the metaphor of this.
It's great.
I love the image of this.
It's great.
I love just everything about this. And again, like just the shadowing, the shading.
She's very accurate on the pieces.
That's pretty wild. I'm not sure how you painted this with just such perfect symmetry, but you did, and thank you so much. I'm highlighting.
That's awesome.
This has its own dedicated video, but you're also getting, for those that watch the podcast or listen to the podcast,
that's awesome.
What you're not seeing is a very big, beautiful painting of Banjo-Kazooie. Of Banjo-Kazooie, and also this painting of these Tetris blocks with this quote that says, "Don't forget to remove the clutter and create more space," and a Tetris block about to come in and create more space. Yeah. So,
get a Tetris.
Thank you very much, Scott and Jen.
And Jen.
My guess is that Scott painted this. And,
okay.
And Jen's just saying she did. I'm kidding.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. But you, sir,
well, like I
had something happen.
I cleaned out my garage.
This is an eventful podcast.
And I was going through stuff, and you know my thing is.
You doing okay? You said you were going through some stuff.
Yeah, I was going through junk, garbage, throwing things away.
Metaphorically and literally.
And yeah, and I found a big old box of CDs, and I was like, what do I do with these? And so I was like, whatever. But I'm always kind of surprised. I'm like, wow. I still have that.
Yeah.
And then I go, I don't want these things, but Mort does.
Let's start with what you have.
So, yeah, I brought a couple things that are like, you know,
Should we vintage,
vintage 2015, 2016, whatever. So this is an inbox now. There's PSVR. Everything's in there.
Is this the first version or the second?
This is the very first one. This is launch. But what it doesn't have, because it didn't come with the PlayStation Move, but I have some PlayStation Move controllers somewhere.
Yeah.
And then it also doesn't have...
They're so cheap, too.
The weird inline earbuds, because I can't find them.
Yeah.
I think they, like, broke immediately.
Okay, I'm not going to open this up.
Yeah, but it's all in there. You can have that.
Okay.
Is this valuable?
Probably a few $100s. This is what I'm...
Never mind. I want the money.
Well, I mean, it's definitely... It's like $100 or $200.
Okay, yeah.
For sure.
I'd like to give somebody a deal, but I don't need it.
Well, here I have one.
Okay.
Already. So, I think from a collector standpoint, PSVR stuff will suddenly come out of nowhere, much in the same way that a Virtual Boy or maybe even a TurboGrafx, something where there are legitimately great games that you can only experience on PSVR, and because they don't make this backwards compatible for PSVR 2,
and a lot of those games didn't get moved forward to be on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I think that the only way to play these is with this.
It is.
This is something that I think people will really desire in the future. It sold a good amount, but
it did sell a lot.
Did not sell.
But it's still not. Yeah, it's not like.
So it's not like a Virtual Boy where like 30 of them sold.
Well, the other thing I brought, which goes along with this, I think is even a little bit more rare because I barely even used it.
Well, and here's the thing about this. This is so cool. This is a great peripheral.
And that is complete. Everything's in there.
Yeah, so to play this is an online only first person shooter and multiplayer focused. I don't know if anyone's even playing it anymore, but it's such a unique experience again.
And the controller was really neat.
It
has the thumbstick on it, the two thumbsticks on it.
Yeah,
things in there. I also have this. Oh, that can just go right along with it. It is a great game. First time I ever experienced VR, it was at at PAX. And I got to play this on the PSVR.
It's great. This is
one of the first times.
This is the kind of thing that I think is just again, I like right now you can still find these at GameStops in like the back room because they didn't sell.
Yeah.
But I give it a year or two, and I think this is the kind of thing that people would be like, I found the gun. Like the Super Scope for NES is now a $100+ item in box. But for years it was like you couldn't give them away.
Right.
But these are quality games. These are not like whatever games. These are quality games.
And I figure with the box and everything. Now, before you pull the other thing, I have a couple.
Josh has more.
Now I don't know. You'll have to tell me. So,
well, hold on. Let's just start with these.
What? Oh,
these are all doubles for me.
Oh, okay.
We've got a lot of people who like to watch our podcast, and I do a lot of buy, sell, trade events. In fact, one coming up called Bits and Brews, which is in a couple of weeks. What do you think about me doing a little bit of a... What if we do like a secret deal? Okay. Why don't you name the price right now?
Okay.
And we can sell it at like a stupid discount.
That's what I want to do.
Giveaway.
That's what I want to do.
Would you rather give it away, or would you rather get a little bit for it?
I would.
No pressure.
I would like.
Just don't be a jerk.
I would like it to be cool for someone. So, what's the coolest way? Like, I'd like someone to be like, "Wow, I feel great." Either I got this for stupid cheap. Is it better to be like sell it and then sell it for like a really low amount that's comical, or is it better to just give it away? I don't know. I don't need.
Okay, we're gonna talk about this and then I'll share on Instagram what we decide to do.
Yeah,
but
that's what I want.
Come to Beers and Brews. I'm bringing this with me.
Okay.
And I'm not taking it home.
Okay, there you go. Okay? That's cool.
Okay.
Now, you have to tell me if this is where these are just boxes.
You don't want to go.
Not yet.
Okay.
These are just boxes.
Oh, I love this.
Are these?
Yes.
Anything?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the original DS Lite. This is DS Lite XL or 3DS XL. Everything is inside that except for the
console.
The console, yeah, because this is the actual console I still play.
Okay.
Because the Hello Kitty Picross is only on this. So. I still got to make all those pierogies.
Are you being serious? Is that a good game? Hello Kitty Picross?
Oh, okay. Hold on. Anything in front of Picross is a good game. If it's Picross, it's good, but Hello Kitty Picross is good because you're making Hello Kitty characters, which are great.
All right, let me tell you about boxes.
Yeah.
For anyone who's listening at home, Josh just pulled out a Nintendo DS Lite box and a red Nintendo 3DS XL red-black console box. And here's the thing with these. A lot of collectors love to have these. Are great display pieces, and they hold up great. I mean, you can see this box has been beat up, but it's in fine
hanging out.
condition.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with this kind of stuff. There's two ways to look at this. One is I can I actually have this box already. This one I don't, but I probably wouldn't keep it. In fact, I'm getting rid of a couple.
You're kind of downsizing
consoles.
boxes, right? Yeah.
So this is the kind of thing that if I was reselling a 3DS, I would absolutely put it
in the box. Mm-hmm.
And then this box might add $50 of value to it. For the DS Lites, I have not noticed that they're as excited about the DS Lite boxes. I could be wrong. But I would say this adds about $25 to $40 on the value, depending on what's there, especially because I hear the paperwork's in there.
Yes.
AR cards? Who knows? Anyway.
Interesting that you say that.
Oh!
But now...
We'll get to that one in
These
a second.
are AR cards for the original 3DS. The one that I traded in to get this one.
So I believe
that's why
those
I kept
are the same ones here. Let's see if
they
they
actually might be in there then.
Yeah, let's see.
But this is from my 3DS Fat.
That's the kind of thing that it's not worth much on its own. It's worth more as a... And by the way, you get this too.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know if this came with AR cards.
I think it did. I'm pretty
Well, if not, then
sure
I would maybe say we put this with it.
Okay, and we don't need to spend a bunch of time going through this, but the point of it is that you've got these boxes, and these are wonderful. This is the kind of... this is the kind of stuff that collectors... I'll find at the swap meet handheld consoles almost every weekend.
I would love it if you found someone that was like, this was something they always needed and didn't have.
Okay.
And we could give it to them for a decent or very cheap or even for free.
And AR cards.
Yeah, we can include this. I don't know what this came... Oh, I don't know why I have
exactly
this.
What this is.
I don't know why I have this.
Do you know what it is?
I know that they're the cards for the Uprising game, but I didn't have that game.
So this is Kid Icarus Uprising AR card or some kind of a card for the 3DS.
Yes.
And
the weird
do you remember the large box and the stand and everything that came with it? This is awesome. And a lot of people, when they resell this, I don't know that they have these especially sealed still. Because they open them and use them and they win. Right. So this is a harder to find piece that I almost just broke. This I'm going to see if I do or don't have it.
Okay. What's yours? You do with it what you want.
Well, that's cool.
I also have this.
Hold on. Oh. We got to fix the back. Oh, is this a GameStop promo?
No. I think that is a Amazon treasure truck. Came from the Amazon treasure truck when I bought the console. When I bought the game.
So it would have been like an incentive to buy from Amazon. So
the treasure truck was coming around and selling it, and they gave it to me.
It says for promotional use only, not for resale.
It's that, or I got it at like PAX, but I wasn't going to them when that came out.
I love this. This is cool.
You can have that. That's yours. Thank you. Now I asked you about a game up there because I didn't know if you had a complete in box, but guess what I found? No. I don't know if this will be of use to you, but it is the Golden Sun map.
Oh, I'm 90% sure I don't have the Golden Sun map.
There you go.
I do now. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
That I was pretty excited about.
Okay, I'm gonna check my box as soon as we're done.
Okay.
And we'll find out.
But the hits are we still have.
You've got more in your garage?
I got more.
We need to call it Josh's garage.
Let's pull a thing that has been literally sitting in my garage since the 90s.
Says SEGA on it. Let's see if
there is in here. So don't look in here because I got a story about there was stuff in here that I didn't know about until I just came here. I took it out because I'm going to show you.
Speaking of drugs.
Yeah. But let's open up the main part of it.
So this bag, I just sold these for like $20 each.
I was going to ask, this is an authentic Sega Genesis bag. Okay. This is how it was.
This is not a Genesis
bag. Game Gear.
So first you have your Game Gear, which is in great condition.
It does not work.
It does not work, which is common with
the screen like turns on for a second and then it turns off. So
my friend Armando over at Pixel Vault Games in Ontario, California, he fixes these all the time.
Fantastic.
And but even for parts, they sell for about $50.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I told you, I said something to you on this that you could have this.
Well, hold on.
You can have all of them.
Do you want to talk about the games first?
Yes, I do.
Let's talk about the games first. Let's really kind of lead up here. Okay. So first, this is the game that everyone had, which is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. This plays great on the Game Gear. Mm-hmm. I love this game on the Game Gear. I had a Game Gear as a kid.
Do you have Game Gear games?
I used to. I don't anymore.
Okay.
But I loved my Game Gear when it was out when I was a kid. And one of the games that I loved playing over and over again, which you have also, is the Streets of Rage game on the Game Gear.
Is it Streets of Rage or Streets of Rage 2?
Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage,
I played this game for hours. I had mine plugged into the wall, because God knows those batteries ain't lasting long, and just absolutely loved this game as well. Let's go to another one. And by the way, these games are $5-10 or so a piece.
Sure.
Next is one of the most unfortunately, what's the word I'm looking for? Super Nintendo hard, but not in a fun way. That's the Lion King on the Game Gear.
Yes.
I don't know what this version is like, but because they didn't have to rent it out, I think the way that they did Super Nintendo and Genesis, I wonder if this one's more playable or fun than that one. But you have a heavy hitter.
I have a heavy hitter. Yeah, I didn't realize it.
Josh has Ristar on the Sega Game Gear.
Which that was my favorite game on Game Gear. Well, I like that game the most.
You have good taste then.
Yeah.
So Josh's copy here of Ristar is probably about $40 game, we said?
I think so.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
So that's kind of wild, but also it's a great game, and it's a classic series, but you have more things.
So I didn't realize that those pouches were full. I had no idea. Zero idea.
When you say full, what do you mean?
They were full of... There was stuff in there. I took it out because I'm going to show it to you.
Oh, no.
First is another case.
Okay, well, we need that for this game that I didn't have a thing for. Hold on. We're going to do
Second is a Post-it note with a time on it.
Oh.
I don't know what that... Again, this is like the 90s.
Was that a time you're supposed to call a girl that you were
probably
finding out if you liked in school?
Not.
Come on,
Well, look at...
Josh, you're quite the Casanova.
No.
Here we go.
No.
All right, here we go. Oh,
I do have the manual for that. I had no idea.
All right. Love that. That one you definitely got to keep in there.
So this looks like this is a manual for like the
console itself.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, it says score sheet on it. So there's no. This is for a game. This is Streets of Rage. This is the Streets of Rage manual.
Oh, that's the Streets of Rage manual. Wait, I thought maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So your cover peeled off of it.
I had this.
Yeah. The Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
I also have... Let me look through here, because I have a bunch of stuff that all goes together. Oh.
Wow. A Game Boy.
I don't know why that's in there.
I'm going to say it.
So...
I liked my Game Boy more than my Game Gear, but I still have my Game
Gear. Yeah. So...
Do you have the cover for this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But I do have quite a bit of this stuff.
Oh, a Game Genie manual for the Game Gear. Love it. Okay, we got, looks like a postcard insert.
Those are empty ones of these, which are the little codes that you would
because on the back of your cartridge, I was wondering what this was.
Yes.
Is the Game Gear codes on the very back. Infinite lives, invincible after one ring, except on Act 3.
Got all this stuff.
That's interesting.
Right?
Wow, all the Game Genie stuff.
I also have the Game Genie.
Josh, I've never in my life seen this before.
So they had this goofy thing for this. I remember this. You could store those codes in here.
Yes.
Somehow. I don't remember how you would do it. You would put it in.
Oh, look at this. Okay, so and then it plugs in. Let's show
how
it plugs in.
It's very strange. So it goes in like that, and then the game goes in there.
Oh my gosh, this is like playing. Like the Sega
like playing
Tower
with Transformers,
of Power.
right? Yeah, you put the game in that way. Now, I don't know if that works because the console doesn't work, but I think the Game Gear's probably fine.
I went like this intuitively to look for the... Oh my
But there is more. So
There's more?
There's more. So, unfortunately, I did not have the cover for Streets of Rage for the manual. I do have the box, though.
Josh! You have the box?
It was folded up in there.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to start collecting Game Gear now. How dare you?
And remember what I said to you? I said that you can have this. I don't go back on it. I also have this.
No, you don't.
What if I told you there was another box in there?
No! Josh! The Ristar box?
No, you gotta see if we can get that sticker off, because that's actually...
Did you try to peel it off?
I haven't touched it.
Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna go real slow. Some of these times they just peel off, and sometimes...
But it's one of the...
It's gonna come off.
It's this guy. It's from this thing.
Hold on.
But, yeah, I found... All of that was inside there. I had no idea. Zero idea.
It's peeling slowly and cleanly right off. Josh...
In box.
Okay.
Manual, cartridge, folded up box that somehow survived. When this came out, I got it years after it came out because we didn't spend full price on it.
Yeah.
But it was in the 90s. I had the TV tuner for this at some point. I remember trying to watch TV, and it barely worked.
Josh, if you... do you have your cell phone on you?
I do.
Let's look up a sold listing of Ristar for the Game Gear.
Is that on the Electronic Bay?
Electronic Bay. So here's the thing. A lot of people... I mean, almost never see Game Gear boxes, for one. And for two, I have a series on the channel, on Mort's Garage, where people bring in their old collections in exactly this scenario. And they're like, oh, it's my old game stuff. This box, who knows how collectible it is? I don't know the Game Gear market, like, at all, except for that Sonics and a few of the others are kind of everywhere. So how much... Let's look for, like, complete in box.
I'm regretting.
No deals have been struck.
No, I gave
especially
it to you.
Especially if you make an informed choice.
Ristar Game Gear with case, authentic, tested, pre-owned, $40, like you said.
Okay. All right, these are sold listings.
So how do I see that to make sure?
Okay, so first of all, just put CIB, so it's complete in box.
I did.
Okay, all right. Now let me see.
Sort
your phone. Okay, hold on. Here you go. So you're gonna go to your filter, and you're gonna go to sold completed items.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Well, so the one I was looking at was a lot higher than that, but of course, like you said, that's not sold. But yeah, sold for $140.
$140. And
that's the exact thing that I have, or that you have right there, which is box. It's not color manual, which I was kind of like, oh, did I get the cheapo manual? I was like, no, that's how they did them. Although, that's the Genesis version, which I actually think is a better one, but that's $200.
Yeah, the Genesis one is a pricey one.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. I found all of that stuff literally before I came over here. I was like, oh, I have the box in here. And I was like, oh no, he's going to lose it.
Wow.
So, yeah. This
is pretty wild, man.
I think it would be cool if you took this and see if this does work. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. So they put a little book inside the back of it that had like the, standard codes. Gosh. I think I still have my Super Nintendo game.
Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. So, is there any part of you that likes to play or wants to play Game Gear anymore?
No, not for 1 second. But I realized that I got this wrong. So this Game Gear thing is kind of neat because so they put the little. I knew that there was a little compartment for a little book, but they also have this weird like window that it seems like it's like, why is that there? But when you put the game in, you can see the codes.
Oh my gosh!
Through the little viewing, so you can type it in, and then when you have it in the Game Gear, it sticks up enough so that you can be like, oh, what are my codes for Infinite Lives? I can only have 3 of them anyways. So
yeah, and then as a kid, you can see that well still. So that's
right.
Well, Josh, this is insane, and I sold off all my Game Gear stuff a while ago. I had a secondhand one.
You did.
But I just picked up a blue one in a trade.
Cool.
And I may keep it and keep these games because why not? So this is cool, man. Even if I don't end up keeping Streets of Rage, I may just keep the box. Because that was a game I played so many hours of as a kid.
That's a classic game.
And it worked great on the Game Gear. Yeah. It was not. Yeah. I mean, certainly the Genesis one is the better one, but for a handheld experience, it was great. Anyway, well, sir,
that is cleaning out the garage with Josh.
Wow, can we make this a weekly segment? That would be great.
Only got the one garage.
All right, well, let's see. I found some NES boxes. What is Hudson Hawk? That's like a super crazy
Snow
game.
Brothers. Yeah. This looks like a bad Bubble.
Yeah. Oh, it's a Capcom game. Gross. Anyway, thank you for watching. Make sure to come to Bits and Brews and stay close to the Instagram. I'll be putting up there what we're going to do with these very exciting items. And make sure to subscribe. Anytime you like or subscribe, anything like that, it helps these videos get a bigger reach. And if you're listening to the podcast, anytime you can tell your friends or share about this, we really appreciate it. We try to give you great, entertaining, hot, sweet, wonderful content.
Yep.
And be on the lookout. If you aren't aware of Mort's Garage, the main channel where a lot of the other hunting videos and stuff go Josh is in a few of them. The one I'm editing with him is actually the next one up. That's coming up.
It's a good one.
But this summer's crazy. We got Siege coming up, which is the Southeast Game Exchange, Bits and Brews, and then a couple weeks later after that is in Arizona at the Game On Expo. So there's just a lot happening.
We've got a couple special episodes of this podcast, that one of them that we're trying to get going.
It is confirmed, and to you who are watching, we know you know who you are. We'll be podcasting live, or not live, but we'll be podcasting
on
location at one of the greatest gaming wonderlands in the history of gaming wonderlands. You can mark my words on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, you all take care.
Hey, bye. Thanks for hanging out with us up in the attic. That's too long.
I'm fine with awkward silence. It's part of my job.